and Department of Public Health. Thank you very much for coming and blessing us with your presence. I'm the Outreach Director, horfadhi. And I want to thank our congregation for showing up. We will continue these kind of programs. Today we are so lucky to have experts in the field of measles, which really become a very contagious disease, especially in our community. This is a well-established fact. So today we want to learn about the causes and the effect it has in our community and the preventive ways. As we say, prevention is better than cure. So thank you very much.
Mobinadine, and I'm one of the pediatricians at Nationwide Children's Hospital.
Dr. Asma aniga waxaan ahay tiri dhakhtareenta ka shaqeeya oo familka ciyaalka la shaqeeya children's hospitalka.
And sometimes I work in the clinic, in the West Side Clinic, that's right down the street from the masjid here.
Mararka qaarkood waxaan ka shaqeeyaa isbitaalka midka inta ku dhagan oo childrenka ku agtiisa ku yaala.
And I appreciate all the information that we've received from my other colleagues at Nationwide Children's Hospital.
Waan ku mahadsanyahay qolooyinka kale oo isbitaalka igala imaadeen waxyaalaha ay ii sheegeen
and Columbus Public Health.
And
I just wanted to add just a couple of comments on my own as I see this issue from being a pediatrician for the community, for many people in the community. So at the Children's Hospital clinics, we see many, many different families from across Columbus. Many different ethnicities, religions. But it's only the Somalis that refuse the MMR vaccine that I have seen in my practice. Okay, you have people who are against maybe all vaccines, right? People are maybe against science or they don't believe in vaccines all, where they would refuse any vaccine. We see different families who have maybe that type of approach. Sometimes we do. But that's not the Somali community, right? The Somali community is not against science. They're not against medicine. They see their doctors. They follow the instructions. I mean, they're generally very much interested in health care and, you know, seeking medical treatment and things like that. That's what I've seen in my practice.
Somalida laakiin ma rumaysna daawooyinka yaan la qaadan ma rumaysna daawooyin waa qaataan dhakhtarkooda waa u tagaan waxa dhakhtarka dhaasuubiya oo badan caafimaadkooda ku jira way yeelaan.
So I didn't understand why they're refusing just the MMR vaccine and why it's so important within the Somali community. And I want to reinforce, like we have many refugees, many different African culture of people who come to the clinics, and it's only the Somalis who refuse MMR, not West Africans, not, you know, Egyptians, Pakistanis, any Arabic-speaking other countries, Ethiopians, Eritreans, nobody else refuses the MMR.
Dadka kaliya ama West Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, Iraq, Arab oo dhan meel kasta ka imaadeen. Qofka kaliya talaalka diida waa Soomaalida bas.
So I just tried to do a little bit of research and
ana kaliya isku daya marka inaan sameeyo oo soo barto why ay sababta ay saan ku dhacayso dadkan ay talaalkan u diidan yihiin.
And I just came up with some interesting information.
Waxyaalo yar yar oo marka aan isku soo arooriyaa jira.
Which is that a long time ago there was a specific British doctor named Andrew Wakefield.
Hadda ka hor waxa dhacday dhakhtar oo Ingiriiska ka imaaday oo Andrew Wakefield la dhaho.
And it was his information that initially raised concerns about MMR and autism in studies that were published like a long time ago.
Marka asaga waxa uu sheegay waxa dhahay autismka iyo waxana waa wax isku seeya.
But they were found to be not true, and that his research was not true, and that's the only, you know, link that initially had raised concerns about MMR and autism.
Ninkaas waxa uu sheegay wax ka jira ama waxa uu soo bartay waa been ahayd wax ka jira male cudurradana wax iska gal ama iska qosay ma jiraan.
And in 2010 he was found guilty by the British General Medical Council of over 30 charges including dishonesty and abuse of children.
Marka 2010 dambiila ba laga dhigaba waxyaalo dambiilo badan unbaa lagu xiray ku qosayda xataa ciyaalka dhibaatooyin oo ciyaal ku keenay.
His work was pulled from the medical journals and he lost his license to practice medicine in Britain.
Laysankiisina waa laga qaaday wax alla wixii uu soo sameeyana ma laga tirtiray meel kasta.
Okay, so you may be asking, okay, why are we talking about Andrew Wakefield right now?
marka ninkaas sababta looga hadla maxaa waaye su'aasha hadda maxaa waaye intaas?
Because you can look this up, you can Google it if you want. Andrew Wakefield and anti-vaccine activists actually targeted the Somali Muslim community in Minnesota.
marka ninkaas waxa uu dhahayay iyo dadka oo cirbadaha ka soo horjeeda maadaama ay Soomaalida xagga nooga badneed ay magaalada Minnesota ay u tagtagayeen Soomaalida
to raise fears about vaccines and to specifically target this vulnerable community.
marka dadkan waxay sameeyeen marka Soomaalida ay waxyaalaha aan shaqeynayn ama suurtagalka ahayn ay u tagaan u sheegeen.
I mean, he himself spoke with the Somali population in Minnesota at least twice, he himself.
asaga marka kaligiis wuxuu sameeyay Soomaali badan oo la shiray oo la hadlaya kaligiis kasooga dadkan inay wixii loo sheegay hal mar ay madaxooda gelinayaan.
So then the Somali community became afraid and they stopped vaccinating against MMR because they were worried about development and autism.
markaas cudurkaas ay ka walwalayeen cudur adsama imaana waxaas markaas arbadiiba joojiyeenba.
So from 2004 to 2014, the vaccination rates of Somali Muslims in Minnesota of MMR went from 92%, which was higher than the regular community even, more than even the white population that was around them. They were very well vaccinated in 2004.
2004kii Soomaalida boqolkiiba 93 way talaalnaa jireen.
And then 2014, 10 years later, after this targeting, the rates dropped of MMR vaccine to 42%.
markaas sanadkii
2014?
2014kii laakiin markii arbadihii la fiiriyo Soomaalida talaalkii boqolkiiba 42 unbaa hoos u dhacday oo joojiyeen talaalkii.
As a result of that, measles went up, kids got measles, children died.
ciyaalka oo jadeecadii ku dhacdo cudurkii ku imaada ku dhacay sababtaas daraadeed oo talaalkii loo joojiyay.
But the autism rate in the Somali Muslim community in Minneapolis did not change, like did not go down because they stopped taking the MMR vaccine.
laakiin autismkii cudurka Soomaalida ma ka yaraan mana ku badan because arbadii joojiyeen yani macnaheedu labadooda wax iska qoseeya male.
So I'm very concerned as a pediatrician that, when people are targeting vulnerable communities with this type of fear mongering, it affects all of us, but I want you to be educated about what's happened in the history.
maadaama anigu dhakhtarkii ahay waxayna aan aqaano cuduradan iyo waxaan beenbeenta oo dadka sheegayaan intay raacaan inay dadkan dhibaato ku imaato ma doonayo mana rabi marka adigu inaad baratid wixii fiirida ka warqabta aday ku fiican tahay.
And the Columbus community is very close to the Minneapolis community, right?
baan ogtay Soomaalida Columbus degan iyo community dad kala fogama waa dad aad iskugu dhow.
Right, whatever people are talking about, it reaches us, right?
xagga ka hadlayaan halkaan oo kugu imaanay.
So those fears reach us as well.
marka dhibaatada xagga ay ku qabeen way noo imaataan kana.
So I would encourage you, along with, as my colleagues have kind of tried to help raise awareness and education today about autism.
waan leeyahay aadaan kugu dhayni dhahaya fiiriya adinkaba ka warqaba arkan maadaama dadka kale inii sheegaan anaan inii sheegay.
To continue to educate yourselves and to not be taken in by fear mongering that specifically targets the Somali community.
dadka oo beenta sheegaya ama Soomaalida community-ga oo imaan aan waxaan shaqeynayn intii laga dhageysan lahay ina adigu wax walba fiirsato oo sida saxda u dantu kugu jirta aad fiirsid.
And to really work within the community to kind of allay these fears and try to help the community get vaccinated and the kids get protected so that people don't suffer because of fear mongering.
dadka sayse dhibaato ugu imaanin ciyaalkana rabsho ugu imaanin in la isla shaqeeyo dadkii la caawiyo ciyaalkii lala hadlo oo dadkan beenta sheega waxooda inta la iska daayo dadkii wixii yaqaan la dhageysto.
And we look forward to your questions.
waa mahadsantihiin waxa su'aalaha.
This is the first step of raising the awareness, and we will take the message back to our congregation, and we would like you to come back so that we can bring more parents and children. A lot of our community don't really understand the importance of these kind of programs. I am the father of 4 kids. They all took the vaccination and none of them was diagnosed with autism, even though I am a little bit concerned of my 1-year-old now. He is not sort of connecting with me when I
called his name, you know, I came Zubair, and he's just watching Caillou. He's not looking at me. So I don't know, maybe you're the right person to answer to that question, if that is something that I should worry about. Myself and his mother both are a little bit worried, but they all took the vaccination. I just want to say that. And I agree with you, Dr. Asma. There was this conspiracy theory that somehow swept across Minnesota that autism has something to do with the vaccination. So I think that voice was very loud. I think it is the responsibility of people like me, faith leaders who are talking to the community, to dispel that myth and tell them that this has nothing to do with this. Even though I'm a faith leader, but my background is biochemistry and microbiology, so I spend a great deal of my time reading these materials, and I try as best as I can to talk to our community. We were together last time when we did the same program about the measles and so forth. I just wanted to say thank you, and also we will organize one more event. I will personally take that responsibility. I will bring more parents, because really this is very important. One of the problems of our community, and I shamefully confess this, is we sort of go into a denial mode. People don't want to talk about this. Mental illness is the same case, even though people are depressed, stressed, but then they don't want to come out and talk about that. So I will be talking to our imams, people who talk to the community, talk to them about the importance of these kind of events. So next time, and I will contact you, we will bring more parents, and we hope that you will come back. And again, thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to put out that message.
Nationwide Children, and thank you specifically to Dr. Asma. I have a question for Dr. Asma. Since who put that myth in Somali community is a doctor, Dr. Whitefield. And they took it as it is. I think it is the doctors, especially family doctors, that can also educate our community about this myth, because they respect doctors and they know they will advise them what's best for them. So my question is to you and doctors like you, what is your role to educate our community? Thank you.
Yeah. This is our responsibility, and with each family and each patient that comes in, I do a lot of well child visits, and those are the visits that we specifically want our patients to get vaccinated for all of their childhood vaccines. And even at Children's Hospital, when people come in for sick visits, if they're not too ill to have vaccines, we bring up vaccines. So every single visit when a child comes in who is not fully vaccinated, we address this at Nationwide Children's Hospital clinics. So we take our role very seriously. We try to educate in the clinic as much time as we can. We try to ask parents if they have questions or fears. Unfortunately, the counter-education and the fear-mongering and what people hear on the internet is also very loud and very effective at raising kind of concerns in parents. And it's very hard sometimes to have enough time to have a discussion. Other times, people don't trust us, and that's what's hard, because even if I'm explaining about vaccines and about all the things that have been mentioned that I know, people listen, but oftentimes then they'll say, oh, well, I have to ask somebody else, or I'll think about it, and they're not convinced because they're afraid. And oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
No
sorry, I totally. Okay, sorry about that.
maxay ahayd su'aal baa la wareystay dhakhtaradii waxay ka jawaabaysay su'aashii la weydiiyey ku saabsaneed tallaalkan iyo autismka. Annaga waan u sheegnaa dadka, waa ka dhaadhacsiinaa mar walba, waa fahamsiinaa in ay tallaalkan uusan waxba u dhimaynin ilmaha, laakiin haddana qofkii maskaxdiisa ma bedeli karno. Qof walba wuxuu haystaa ra'yigiisuu ku socdaa.
waa isku daynaa dhinac kasta in aan dadkii markay imaanayaan in aan fahamsiino inuu tilaalkan iyo cudurkan aysan isku dheganayn ay kala baxsan yihiin oo u baahan yahay ilmahooda haddana waxa waaye mana dhegaystaan dad kale la tashtaan qof walba markaa wuxuu ka socdaa maskaxdiisii.
Thank you. So absolutely, doctors have the responsibility, and we do our best within the clinic visits to try to educate. But a lot of people don't believe us. I'm sorry, they just don't.
dhakhaatiir haddii aan nahay waan ka hadalnaa, waan u sheegnaa sida wanaagsan iyo waxa wanaagsan markay imaadaan dadka, laakiin haddana waxa waaye nama dhegaystaan oo waxaan sheegaynoo dhan waxay u qaataan iska hadal oo kale tooday ka wataan.
Even as a Muslim woman doctor, many Somali mothers don't believe me if I'm advising them to have the MMR vaccine. Even if I let them know I vaccinated my 3 kids and I would not advise anything before Allah that I didn't think was good for them.
Anigoo dhakhtarad oo islaan caruurna leh, xataa haddii aan u sheego oon dhaho ilmaha hala tilaalo, tilaalkan waxba kama dhibaayo oo faa'iido u yahay si kasta aan ugu sheego, haddana waxay ka wataan tooda ima rumeeyaan.
So then the issue comes up, like, where is the trust in the community and how can we make a real difference with the trust? Because it's because of fear, right? I don't doubt that, I mean, people want to take the best care of their kids, it's just they're afraid and they're not sure where to trust.
Marka waxa ugu muhiimsan waxa waaye kelmad la yiraahdo trust, is-aaminis la'aana meesha jirto, si walbaan dadkii annaga ula hadalnaa, way sheegtay inay naag islaan tahay, dadkan ii imaanaya Soomaalidana ay muslimiin yihiin, haddana waxa waaye layma dhegaysto kale.
And I understand it's very scary if you have another family who has fears, who has a child with autism, who is worried that it was due to a vaccination. That's very scary for families.
Waana la socdaa cawaa'ilka imaanayo haddii cid ay qabeen ilmo caruurtooda cudurkan autismka qaba iyo kuwa kale ay meel wada joogaan in ay mataqaanaa walwalkaas inuu yahay walwal soconayo.
So I think the medical community, all of us really appreciate any of the community support and education that we can get, because if the doctors are trusted and they take the advice, that's good. But the next step, maybe the imams also are good people, maybe the community elders, maybe community health workers, maybe cultural brokers within the Somali community, maybe the grandmothers and the grandfathers. I mean, whoever can maybe have this discussion wherever the trust is. These are important ways to help educate the community that we can't always reach, being outside of the different communities.
Marka مشكلة بلا سك أنا أقبلها.
I'm sorry, I didn't let you translate what I said.
No.
haddii ay diideen dadkii caruurtii ay diideen, hooyooyinka ay diideen, waalidka ay diideen caruurta in la talaalo, waa inay isla xiriiraan dhakhaatiirta ciyaalka iyo inta isla xiriirtaan waayo dadka laga dhaadhacsiiyo, waayo hadduu cunuga takhtarka la geeyo waa inuu takhtarka cunugii oo mas-uul ka yahay. marka takhtarkooda, culmaha takhtarkooda iyo adinku waa inay isla xiriirtaan ood ka dhaadhacsiisaan, xoogana la saaro in ilmaha takhtarkooda looga dhigo waalidka xujo.
My advice to you as a doctor is to communicate you and the families who comes to the clinic, to convince, to educate, to reach what you explained to us now at the moment. That's my idea. What I think is the best thing to solve this issue or the problem is to do that.
xalku waa yaraana marka hadii waalidka ay diideen in la talaalo, dhibaatadan ay jirto, marka waa in xooga la saaro familiga doctorka iyo inaad adinka isla hadashaan oo dadkii.
In case, let's put it like Dr. Asma mentioned, if the communication disconnected, what I advise is you as a doctors for the children and their doctors, their personal doctors, to communicate and give this education what you explained to us so that they can get both sides advices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you very much. It was a great opportunity that you came to our center, and it is our honor. Unfortunately, we tried our best. I mean, we understand, and I think you guys understand, the community, how difficult it is, when it comes to these issues. We have been trying, to communicate and advise the community to take part in this event, this awareness session, to make sure they understand it exactly, the issue. But it was a little disappointing. We didn't have enough audience. We didn't have enough participants, but I think we'll keep trying. It's not going to disappoint us, but, as everybody said, we will keep trying. And the problem is, I think I was just listening, all the discussion is. It's very clear, and most of the people are convinced that autism and measles vaccination, there is no relation. But there is a stigma and taboos, all the time. And this is a culture, and it takes a long time to break it. So we will try our best, and we will not give up the hope. We'll keep putting our efforts to make sure until the last person understands the magnitude of this and the seriousness of this issue. It is really, really a serious issue within our community, especially. And that's all the cases that are happening is from our community, and we understand it. But we will try our best with your help. We have to all together think about it. What is the best way we can communicate? What is the best way we can achieve it? This milestone. It is a hard journey. It's a hard, it's an uphill, but we'll keep doing it. We'll keep trying our best. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Good. If there is one thing I wanted the Somali community to know, it is that in research study after research study, no matter where they look, they have found no connection between the MMR vaccine and autism.
halka hadal oo rabo inaan ku soo celceliyo oo waliba Soomaalida community-gaan u sheegay daawada MMR kaldo iyo autism inaysan waxba iska gelin waxna iska quseen wax isla meel aan aysan ahayn.
Okay. Early differences associated with autism include delayed communication.
Qofka autism-ka qaba waxa ugu horeeyo lagu ogaan kara hadalkii ku soo daaho.
Not responding to their names.
Magacooda markii lagu waqaayo su'aalihii iyo waxba ka dhageysanaynin.
Or showing much social interest.
Iyo ayakoo rabay dadkii kale inay la ciyaaraan ama qofkii kale wuxuu sameynaa ayna doonaynin.
If you have any concerns about your child's development, talk to your pediatrician.
Haddii aad wax su'aala ka qabtid ama walwal aad qabtid ama aad ku fikirtid waxba fadlan dhakhtarka ciyaalka la hadal u tag.
Early identification and intervention is critically important.
Marka looga hortago wixii intay saha xanuunkii imaan ama ugu horeeya laga hortago waa muhiim.
I want to talk to you about the MMR vaccine.
Arbada talaalka inaan kala hadlo MMR ka la rabaa.
The MMR vaccine is very effective.
daawadaas MMR-ka dadka si fiican bay ugu shaqaydaa.
It's very safe.
Waxay dhibaato iyo xanuun leedahana cudur keentana ma jirto.
And it does not cause autism.
Autism-na ma keento wax iska qoseeyana ma jiraan.
Here's a vial of the MMR vaccine.
Waa taas daawada MMR-ka xabada ku jirta.
It's the same vaccine that is given everywhere in the world.
Waa halka cirbad oo adduunka dhan meel kasta laga isticmaalo.
So my children took the same vaccine.
Ciyaalkayga cirbadaas oo kale qaateen.
And the vaccine is very safe.
Cirbaduna ama talaalkuna wax uu dhibaato leeyahay ma jirto.
As a fellow brother, as a fellow African, I want to tell you that the vaccine is safe.
maadaama qof afrikaan ah ama isla mid adinkii oo kale ah inaan inii sheego curbadaas ama daawadu wax ay dhibaato keento ma jirto.
And you should not be afraid to take the vaccine.
soo inaad ka walwashid ama ka fikirtid curbadaas inaad qaatid ma u baahni.
Thank you very much.
aad u mahadsantihiin.
Asma, one thing. What do you want me to know? What?
Oh, yeah.
The mask. Dismiss the mask. I mean, the
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام مركوب ورئيس السلام عليكم سلامة إسلامك.
As I notice in my clinics, the Somali community is the only community that refuses just the MMR vaccine.
aniga waxaan la socdaa dhinaca xafiiskayga dadka kaliya diida tilaalka in ay yihiin mujtamacan Soomaaliga.
This is not a belief that is shared by any other refugee community, any other African community, any other Muslim community for the families that come into the clinic.
ma u malaynayo markaas mujtamac walba ha ahaado oo muslim ah sida Soomaalida ay u diidaan oo kale tilaalkan dad u diida maanan arkin.
I would encourage the community to become more educated, to talk to your doctors, and to better understand the safety of the MMR vaccine and the fact that it doesn't cause autism, and to vaccinate your children, as I have vaccinated my 3 children.
sidaan idin sheegay markii horeba waxaan markaa mujtamacan Soomaalida aan ka rabaa in ay aaminaan tilaalkan inuusan waxba u dhimaynin caruurta ay qaataan oo kale sida aniga ilmahayga u qaateen oo kale.
It is a trust before Allah that we take the best care of our children that we can, and we need to make sure that we use all the means at our disposal to protect our families and keep them safe. Thank you.
waa mahadsantihiin markaa warkii oo kooban ha qaataan tilaalkan waa wax wanaagsan iskuma xirna tilaalkan iyo autismka. waa mahadsantihiin.
Is that what you want?
Yeah. Thank you very much.